Hello and welcome back to the channel. So I'm now in a place called Glen Etive in Scotland. What an absolutely remarkable place. Now I've been here, I think it was last year with my family, but because I turned 40 just a few days ago, I've sort of been given permission to go off and have a little trip to Scotland by myself in the new van. So yeah, I set off from Norfolk and it took me about 9.5 hours in total to get from where I live in Norfolk to Glen Etive here. The journey last night was the last part of the journey. Just sort of picture the scene. Absolutely pitch black. It goes down to, it's -5 at about 6 o'clock at night, and the route in here, basically my washer jets completely froze up. Obviously I tried clearing the windscreen, which only made things worse. So every time people were coming the opposite direction, I just could not see what I was doing. And then we got to the road, it's quite near Glencoe, Glen Etive. You sort of turn off and it's pitch black. The road is absolutely covered in a mixture of ice and snow. And I'm driving a rear-wheel drive Ford Transit about 10 miles an hour all the way here. I get to the spot where I'm parked at now, and a red deer stag is just on the top bank, just looking at me. It's absolutely incredible. So yeah, I slept far too long last night. I've gone out and done a quick recce. I've seen a couple of, well, I've seen a red deer doe and one of its young. With any luck, potentially I might see the stags. It's 11:47. I would potentially, for red deer, expect to see them sort of later on in the afternoon. So really, I just want to kind of go around, maybe get some pictures of the scenery, of the landscape, just to enjoy the trip. Really, so far, I mean, last night wasn't too bad. It was freezing. Like I said, it was -5 just before I even got here. So I dread to think what it was last night. But yeah, this is the new van. It's probably about 90% of the way there. I'm sure I'll probably make a video on it. I've babbled on for long enough, so let's explore Glen Etive, and I think Scotland will be good for the next few days. It's incredible. So after a fun-filled day, I'm now back in the van. It is 6:20 of an evening. It's absolutely pitch black and pretty cold yet again. So I took a chance to sort of explore more around this area. Now, the reason I actually parked here is obviously, one, because of the red deer, but two, it's quite a useful sort of base of operations for the van. The reason being is there's a big mobile phone antenna literally right next door to me. That worked out absolutely amazingly when I was here with my family, but we decided with our phones that we would go with the free network, basically to try and save some money. That's an EE mast only, and I'm with free, so basically I've got no signal whatsoever. That means that I can't get in touch with my wife or my son to tell them that I'm okay. I'm sure they know that I'm absolutely fine, but that's a bit of a pain. So that's basically going to lead to me moving on tomorrow. Now, I'm really not sure where to go. I've had a good few recommendations from people on sort of the Facebook wildlife groups, but unfortunately, because I've got no signal, I can't do the research on my phone. So that's really, really annoying. What's pretty cool though is in the van right now, I've got my laptop basically set up so I can edit photos and videos. That's actually plugged into a wall socket just behind you, and that wall socket goes to the inverter. Basically, an inverter converts 12 volt power to 230, 240 volt power like you use at home, which is really, really cool. So at the minute I'm running a 12 volt fridge, so it's I'm keeping everything at sort of 2 degrees, which hasn't been too hard in Glen Etive. I've got my laptop and obviously the lights, power and everything. I could make my cups of tea on my induction hob. I've also got an air fryer. Cornish pasty in the air fryer. Oh yeah, oh yeah. So it is really, really cool. The van is an amazing base of operations. So earlier on today then, I did see the red-eared doe and her calf. Unfortunately, they were visually aware of my presence. Now, they didn't smell me, they didn't hear me. I wasn't dressed in camouflage, but they obviously know the area so well that I stood out like a sore thumb. And I could tell it wasn't worth pursuing, basically. So I sort of, cut around, basically just exploring the area. And I saw another 2 deer on the other side of the river. So I thought, okay, what I can do is follow the river and then find a place to cross. And I'll be able to sort of approach them from cover and get pictures that way. The problem is there was nowhere to cross the river. I had an absolutely amazing walk. This area it's incredible. Like, I don't know if I can get across how excited I am to be in a place like this. Like, Norfolk is flat as a pancake, Essex flat as a pancake, and I don't know whether it's that draws me to this area so much. I don't know whether it's because, back in the day doing my army training and exercises, maybe it reminds me of that. Maybe just it's the wild nature of it all. I don't really know. All I can tell is that I absolutely love it. What I need to do really is cook my dinner. I'm going to run the heater before I go to bed, like at max. Get my onesie on, cook my dinner and just settle in for the night. Yeah, bit of a bummer about the mobile signal. Now I know everyone's going to have a go at me and go, oh, you can't go wild camping and have... It's really useful. So yeah, see you tomorrow. So I'm at this rather fabulous location. What absolutely epic views. So yeah, the van's parked over there, and yeah, just trying to get some compositions that I've not seen before. Stunning. Hey, so back in the van. Now this has become a bit of an issue because ever since I sold my Lumix G80, it's incredibly hard. Basically, I can't really vlog, and it's quite difficult because I'm swapping between telephoto lenses for wildlife and then my only sort of wide angle 12 to 60 lens for the rest of the stuff. So vlogging doesn't really enter into it. Even just trying to capture some of the views I've had today, it's been really difficult, and I've sort of made a decision. I'd like to get perhaps a GoPro, or I watched Emily from the Micro 4 Nerds channel recently review the DJI Osmo Pocket 3, I think it was, which looks like it would be absolutely perfect for me because I can walk around, do my video stuff. It's a tiny little device. It sounds like it's right up my street, but it's not it's not that cheap. So it's definitely something I should look into. I know I've not really been doing the YouTube thing, so, putting money towards something that costs me money isn't really something that I like doing. But it's definitely something I'd look into. So yeah, what's happened the last few days? I left Glen Etive. Just check out these views. I'm just driving off from Glen Etive, and Look at this. I really regret not going on foot and just walking down this road. It's just remarkable. It's just something else. And the issue I have is, in Scotland, like, the morning seems to take forever to arrive, the actual light. And realistically, there's maybe 5-6 hours maximum of actual light. So between travelling, between stopping, eating, taking in some of the views, I haven't actually got a lot of time. So yesterday, I basically spent travelling from Glen Etive to sort of the edge of the Cairngorms. Found an amazing parkup, thanks to Park for Night. It's a really good app, and I use it all the time. Beautiful spot right by a river. As I arrived, a kingfisher flew past. It was just truly breathtaking, absolutely stunning. Absolutely secluded, all by myself. Couldn't ask for anything better. So I left there this morning, and I was pretty sure, obviously, I want to do as much as possible while I'm in Scotland as I can. I want to just, I can't just pop up to Scotland every weekend. It's a rarity, and the fact that I've got no mobile signal, I keep going on about it. I can't do so much planning, so it's kind of, trying to just jumble something together and go in. So, day before yesterday, I saw a post by Geoff, who I absolutely love his YouTube channel. I know I say recently had a baby. He didn't have a baby, his wife had a baby. I know it's 2024. But, yeah, I absolutely love his channel. And I saw a post that he'd put on, I think it was an RSPB forum, basically asking where mountain hares were. And there were 2 suggestions. I can't remember the name of the mountain someone recommended. And then there was the Glenshee ski centre. And I thought to myself, Glenshee ski centre sounds like there would be an awful lot of snow. And we're towards the end of January now, and the weather's kind of, I've been trying to keep an eye on the weather forecast, and they're saying that it's going to be snowing. They're saying it's not going to be snowing. It's cold. It's warm. It's really, really messed up. And I thought, right, okay, if we're going to have heavy snowfall, maybe keep away from a ski centre. So I went to these mountains. Turns out it was basically a closed farm, and I'd wasted about an hour and a half in travel time. So I drove all the way back, but took the scenic route. And that was an experience. So basically, I come across this downhill section, and when the road has got a layer of snow on it that then turns to ice going downhill. Well, this doesn't look good. I've got a Ford Ranger with its hazards on in front of me, a van, a car. I don't know what the hell's going on here. It does not look good though. And I've got to get up that hill, apparently. Nice. I'm thinking, oh my god, what's happened here? As it turns out, it was pretty much just a lady that couldn't get up the hill in her car. She had got the police to jump in her car and get it up the hill because she was incapable of doing it. I mean, I'm not going to judge anyone. If you're from London, you pop up to Scotland in your car, you just don't see snow. But anyway, me and a van behind me, we decided, do you know what? Let's not risk this. I'm in a rear-wheel drive Transit. It's probably not the best idea. So we spin round. The problem is, we're actually need to be going up the hill. So I'm in first gear. My wheels are spinning. There's a car parked in the middle of the road that's basically stranded. I'm now going sideways up this hill. Thank thankfully I have traction control, but I'm going sideways almost consistently up this hill, but I'm actually getting enough traction to go up it. And I'm going sideways past this car, and I'm just gauging the front of the van, just sort of seeing whether, you know, if I keep this trajectory, whether I'm going to miss this car, which I do. Eventually managed to get it straightened out, but then I've got the issue of the copper that's driving this woman's car. He's going very, very slowly up this hill, and I've actually got some momentum. So I just kind of like indicated to the left, he sort of moved to the right where there was more traction, and I could just get straight up and then past him. I thought, okay, that's the last of my troubles. Called up friends and family telling them the story. And eventually a Dutch chap drove past. And he had a little chat, and I said, you know, maybe you can give it a go, who knows. And so I sit there with my telephoto lens and I watch to see his car, because there's like an S-bend going uphill, and it looks really dodgy from a distance. So I sit there with the telephoto following him. He has no issues. So I thought, you know what, let's give it a go. So I gave it a go, and other than the wheels spinning a little bit in second gear, I was absolutely fine, and I was on my merry way. And to be fair, it was quite good. I've got completely used to driving in the snow again. So, yeah. Then I get to, well, I've then started, it's starting to get like, you know, reasonably dark. It's in about 3-4 o'clock in the afternoon. So I'm thinking, right, I need to park somewhere. So I start looking for places to park. And eventually I've settled for somewhere just past Glenshee ski centre. Look at this, mate. Home for the evening. Like I'm on another planet. Look at this. So the idea is I stay here the night, but try and go to bed early, try and get up early in the morning, and then hopefully potentially see the mountain hares tomorrow. The issue I've got again is the signal. I can't find the exact locations. I've got a feeling I'm, for safety, probably going to have to park in Glenshee car park. Probably going to have to use wellies. I don't know how I'm going to play this. Tomorrow, realistically, is going to be my last full day. But just today was, although I feel like I haven't really achieved anything, the views, particularly the Cairngorms, it's baffling. Like, I was calling people up going, look at this, look at this, look at this. I'm just it is truly beautiful, and I wouldn't go as far to say that I'd move up here, but I mean, if I had money, if I had more money where I could have a comfortable living, because you can't just move and go, okay, where are you going to work, Joe? Good point. Where am I going to work? So it's, yeah, but I mean, sort of perfection scenario. I have a second home somewhere in the Cairngorms, and I base myself out of there because Scotland, absolutely love it. Anyway, I'm going to do some admin, or some vadmin, and we'll see how it goes tomorrow with these hares. So the Scottish dream sort of coming to an end. So I was literally just in bed, pretty much about to go to sleep. It was a little bit cold, and the wind was scaring me a little bit. Anyway, a vehicle turns up, I hear it, and I'm like, hear a knock at the door. I've never had a knock at the door before. It was the police. Basically saying they can't force me to move, but they're going to close the snow gates, basically. Meaning that, worst case scenario, if say something bad happened, I'd be stranded up here. I am kind of fine with that, and I'd rather sort of travel down a road that I've never driven down before in the daytime. But he did say if there's enough snow, I'll be basically blocked in this little area that I'm at. So I've decided I'm going to get my trainers on, keep my onesie on, and just turn around and go down the road. So, yeah, not ideal. So the policeman wasn't lying. Basically, this is the gate that they've closed. Just met a couple of Geordie lads. Apparently, they are actually timing this with the snow being this bad, but for them it's good. I just found out, like, renting the equipment and the ski pass for the day, grand total of about 60 quid. So that's decent. That is decent. So yeah, just gotta wait for the copper to turn up now and open this gate. So my final night back in the van. It's a rather chilly -4, but apparently according to my app it feels like -10. And yeah, today hasn't really been a day that's gone to plan. So last night I stayed up fairly sort of close to Glenshee ski centre, but at about midnight I got a knock on the door, which is my first ever knock on the door, from the sort of local police, saying that, you know, they couldn't tell me to move on, but they just advised that they were closing the main road up to the ski centre due to the heavy snow, and potentially where I was I could get stranded. I was speaking to someone today and they said that sometimes you can't get out for 3 days. So I thought, a Scottish policeman, he lives here, he definitely knows better than me. I'll take his advice. So I travelled down the road and got to the spot that I'm at now. Absolutely beautiful little spot. It's a couple of degrees, well, probably a bit more than that, warmer down here than it is up at the top of the mountain. And yeah, I didn't get to bed till quite late, and then ended up waking up late as a result. Well, isn't it just beautiful here? This is where I've ended up for the evening. A nice little picnic area. So yeah, now I've got to decide, do I explore around here where there's a river, or do I go up to Glenshee to try and look for the hares? Just taking in the beauty. Hares it is. We need to sort the van out first. Because I've got signal here, I did a little research into where Geoff Cooper went to photograph the mountain hares. Now this video's years and years old. And what I was able to do is kind of, from his video, work out where he was heading. I must be mad. So the van parked down there at the Glenshee ski centre, and I had signal, so I quickly checked out Geoff Cooper's video and worked out where he had actually done his trek. So look at this. Yeah, I think watching his videos in like February, so yeah, there was not this. So I must be slightly insane. Oh, I don't know. It was a little bit difficult because in his video, I think it was the end of February or mid-February, there was barely any snow up on the hills. Whereas contrast that to me, it was, well, it was pretty bloody heavy snowfall. So I decided to go straight to the top of the mountain, basically. I'm a bloody polar explorer, mate. Look at this. I want to climb myself up this hill, and I'm still going. As I'm walking up, you've got the guys sort of going up on the ski lifts. And I was thinking to myself, that looks a hell of a lot easier, but I think it probably would have cost about £30 for a ski pass for the day, which I wasn't going to do. So I get walking, and it's not too bad, to be fair. And then it starts steepening. And as I'm going up, a few times I almost sort of slipped over, and I thought, this isn't ideal. Then I get almost to the summit, and because what happens is that the wind comes around the mountain and takes the fresh snow off the top of the ice, and in certain parts of it, it's pretty much just ice. So I just didn't have the purchase. I had like kind of like mountain boots, but they haven't got any spikes or anything in them, and it's definitely something I'll probably consider investing in. And I start sliding, and the first time I thought, okay, let's go on all fours, let's try and climb up, and it's cold on the hands. It's not ideal. Then I slid down this mountain, like about 25 meters, thinking, oh my, it's basically, I mean, there's 2 or 3 ski slopes, so that gives you an idea of the incline. Well, I've had to bin it, essentially, because there comes a point where, let me make you wider, there becomes a point where, you ever heard the saying, shit rolls downhill? Well, it turns out Joe also rolls downhill quite quickly when you're on a steep slope. So for the sake of my safety, I have given up this ascent. So I sort of panicked, opened my arms and legs, and just was on my front, basically just trying to dig in, cause as much friction as I could. And I did actually come to a stop. And for the first time in a long time, now I'm not trying to big myself up, I'm not really like a fear person. Like I can't really, there's not many times where I've been scared. Obviously there's like a natural healthy fear of heights, that's quite normal, and I definitely felt that. But this time I had a real fear in my brain, just thinking, if you slide and you get enough momentum, you're going down. Like there's nothing that's going to slow you down. You're going to get right down to the bottom of the ski centre, and that's if you even manage to slide down without rolling and breaking all your arms and legs. And so I just sort of gently slid myself down until we were at the sort of powdered snow point. So there was some evidence of mountain hares up there. I didn't see any, but there were sort of little drop-ins. So, you know, they're definitely there. Sure, I was probably 25 metres away from getting to the summit and possibly seeing them on the other side. But as I've got older, I think I've definitely got wiser, or at least more sensible. The younger me would just go gung-ho, full military mode, just don't think, just do. And now I just think, well, you're 40 years old, mate. Look after yourself. There's a reason you've been alive this long. Let's extend that. So yeah, and then got back to the van. My hands, I need to invest in a better pair of gloves because my fingers really were tingling. And yeah, so back in this location, and the plan is tomorrow to head home. Now, I guess on the wildlife photography front, unless something happens tomorrow, I'm not overly happy. Like 4 or 5 days is nothing in the grand scheme of Scotland. It's absolutely nothing. I could go around Norfolk for 4 or 5 days and see nothing. So I don't want to beat myself up too much about not getting results in terms of like the wildlife photos. Obviously they were like a dream in my head, but there's other days, there's other weeks, there's other months, there's other years. I plan on being around a while, and there'll be other days basically. And yeah, I mean, the one thing is with the YouTube channel, there was a period where I wasn't really kind of interested in doing it. It didn't help that I haven't really got the gear to be doing the YouTube thing anymore. But there was like a self-doubt. Do you want to be doing this? Like social media influencing or that sort of side of thing just winds me up. And I thought, you're just another person on a social media platform, basically. Just exists to wind people up. And I don't know, I just thought, sometimes you don't have to share everything in life. Sometimes, you know, you can just do stuff for yourself. So I kind of gave up on it, and then this was sort of the perfect sort of opportunity to dip my toes in it. I haven't taken wildlife photos in a reasonable length of time, and there is a big long story behind all of that, but the fact is that I've had an absolute whale of a time in Scotland, and perhaps I should shut up and see you on the next video. Take care. Look at this. You gotta be kidding me. I'm just heading home today, and this is what I see. You gotta be kidding me. You've got to be kidding me.